Hello again. This is the Waterman. Spiritual Toolbox number 102. The Love Chapter number 78. Audio recording number 420. And examination table number 82. Okay. Now, I'm going to continue. I got a little bit more in Jericho, and then I'll be heading back to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. Okay. Now, let me review just a little bit. Just skim it just a little bit, and then get back working out a little bit more of those base words. Okay. Now, Jericho is a proper locative noun. It comes from the word 3405, and it's this word.
Strong's H3405. Yereho. Yereho.
Yereho. Okay, it's a proper locative noun. Okay, so it's telling where you're at in your mind if you're interpreting this with the Spirit of God and not just swallowing it like a blind hog, like an unclean animal, then poop it out, never regurgitate it, never think about it, never give it a second thought, never ask God more about it. Take it in and what's it doing inside my mind. That's where right now. How do I apply it right now? And it's not somewhere back there or somewhere out here, somewhere out in the future. No, it's right now. Okay, that's where it's important. It's okay to know about the outside and this exterior and stuff, but that's not your focus. Focus is just like a single-eyedness of those right inside, getting your mind right back all the way in, and that's why in God, each one of them, because you got a whole bunch of that wrong thinking in you. Don't believe that stuff. Okay? God's willing to take and giving you the opportunity through these storms of life to agree with Him and correct that thing back to the absolute truth of the matter. He loves you beyond words. You know, you can't describe it with just mere words. It's not just give you a lollipop, appease you. It's not be harsh all the time. It's at all. It's bringing all those thought processes in you. Each one is purifying it through this long, hard, narrowing path. But the reward is far, far, far exceeding anything that you have to go through. The sufferings of this age are nothing compared to the glory that will be revealed in you whenever each thought process is being brought through this thing. A little bit like negative electronic experiences going on in your life. But the magnitude of just getting one proton or one neutron in that heavier water, going back into God's heavy, dense character, the glorious doxa, okay? Nature, character, and authority of His love beyond words, being able to love Him the way He first loved us, is exceedingly great, right? Just like He said, I am, that's the self-existing one, I am your exceeding great reward, like He told Abram in Genesis 15:1, okay? You gotta make that applicable to you. Are we not all children of the Most High God, whether disobedient children or obedient? Okay? God cannot deny Himself. 2 Timothy 2:13, okay? He can't. If it's all the way down into this minuscule plank length size thought process, that seed of Christ, that faith has been germinated. It's completely ignorant of that down inside of you. Don't believe it a look. Hateful and all kinds of stuff. still in enmity, directly opposed, because you're listening to your own carnal mind, your own alpha dog, hee-haw donkey, messed up parakeet, sneaky snake, Diabolus, false accuser, and Satanus, that imposter of light. Promises, 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 but they're not the covenant of God. God cuts the foreskin of your heart, your mind, away, that fleshly thinking, away from your mind, and you walk, you live, exist right through the middle of it, like going through that eye of the needle. Right back all the way from out of, to towards, into, in, and XY in him. Okay, you getting the picture? Keep saying it over and over and over in different ways, trying to bring it out, and hopefully those that has an ear to hear can hear what the Spirit says, and then follow through with it, obey it, because you have to work out your own salvation, your own deliverance from this thing, not just once, over and over and over and over and over, many, many, many times, however many times God permits you to. See, if God permit, you'll go on beyond these rudimentary or elementary principles, right? Like in Hebrews chapter 6. Okay? Now, primarily this Jericho is speaking of fragrance. Okay? When you're smelling, spiritually speaking, from your seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, to smell. Smelling the fragrance. Okay, to make that decision in the eye of each storm. Okay? In that little calm center of that storm, you have to decide to agree with God or to disagree. You have to be able to hear. Smell. This is smelling. Okay? Now you have to be able to smell it. Does it smell like poop thinking, your own righteous thinking? Or does it smell like the rose garden of God? Okay? I won't skip on down through here. I've covered, well, let's go ahead. 3405. I done did that one. It's this one.
Strong's H3405. Yerecho. Yerecho.
Okay, that's Jericho, okay. And then that one comes from 3394. Covered that one too.
Strong's H3394. Yareach.
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 Hocker. Okay, and then that goes on down to, let's see here, 3391. This word. I'm out. Is that right? Yeah. It comes down to this word.
Strong's H3391. Yerach.
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 Okay. And then back in, and that's down to from an unused root of an uncertain signification, okay? And that one's all this talking about lunation and the month and all this stuff, okay? Now, and it's all speaking about like a fragrance, okay? Now, let me hop back here and show you something. Try to get, whoops, jump back a little bit quick. Oops.
Strong's H3405.
Push wrong button again.
Yerecho.
Okay, Yerecho. Back to 3405, okay? And let me see if I can find it. Okay, that is the first city that was conquered by the Israelites. And the Israelites, that's God prevails. That's in your mind. So it's the first thing you got to overcome in each one of these things. You got to choose God and be in hot pursuit. Now, it goes on down in here. I think it's in the, hang on just a second. Well, it means fragrant. And if you get on down, it's down inside this It's either the BDB or, hang on just a minute. It's, yeah, Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon. Yeah. Okay. And it's meaning either dubious or rose garden. So when you're spelling, dubious or rose garden. Okay, now let's define out what this dubious. Get more specific. What you smelling? Really, it's your own righteousness, your own filthy, stinking rags. It smells like poop. Okay, spiritually speaking, inside you discern that bad boy because you're smelling. Is like discernment. Okay, your smelling is telling you about this dubious thing or rose garden. Okay, now let's define this rose garden and dubious. Okay, dubious means doubtful, it's questionable, of doubtful quality. It's poop. It's worthless and detestable. Ooh, yuck. It's BS. It's one's own righteousness, which is that filthy, stinking rags, Isaiah 64:6, okay? And Isaiah chapter 30, verse 19 through 22. Ooh, yuck. Get it away, right? Okay? Is your poop thinking is doubtful. At best. No, don't want nothing. Don't even be a doubtful. God wants to take that doubt away from you. You get away from that stuff. Turn your back on it. Do a 180-degree about face. And go back. Shoot your arrows, your efforts in your mind towards God in hot pursuit. Habitually practice shooting at that bullseye, at that target. The will of God. Okay? And that will is God's love beyond words for you. God cannot deny himself. He wants to increase you little by little by little. Through fiery trials, through pressures, ellipsis, turn you into a diamond, into that gold, that pearl of great price. Okay? Starting to get a picture. Now, you either smell the dubious. This is to help you discern, make that decision inside that eye of the storm. Is it dubious? Is this questionable? Is this my poop thinking? Whether it's good or bad, that don't matter. Is it from the wrong tree? Is it from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, or is it from the tree of life? Now, this rose garden, this is a highly desirable situation. The online usage, or wait a minute, hang on. Yeah, online usage of this is okay, I already let the cat out of bed a little bit on this, but I'll read it again, it don't matter. This was the first city conquered by the Israelites. And Israelites, that's representing God prevails, Israel, or God rules as the king of your mind. The rightful king is taking its place in your mind. If you choose. Little by little, God's giving the increase. God's love beyond words is taking the center stage in your mind. Not this old doubtful, hateful, mixed up donkey, dominant beast nature. This parakeet is quoting all kinds of stuff, but it don't know what the heck it's talking about. Shine outside of your car. Oh, it's all over the place. Sneaky snake, all kinds of alpha dog. It does all kinds of stuff. Anything to manipulate you, to make it so loud that you can't hear that still small voice. But God's giving you another way also. As you see and hear and taste, touch, and smell, instead of being controlled by that ego, that noisy beast nature. He's causing all this pressures, this fiery trials, and then right in the center of it, the eye of the hurricane, the tornado, the storm, is giving you this chance where it's momentary quietness. Well, it may not seem quiet to you, because there still may be all kinds of stuff going on around you, but inside, Just takes the twinkling of an eye. Your chains win in the twinkling of an eye. Okay, just in that thought process, right in there, right at this moment. You have to decide. Agree with God, agree with this love beyond words. That's probably a tough thing to do, but it's the most beneficial thing to you. This other way is just, it's crap. Sink you down into a big cavern of crap thinking. Okay, now this seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell with Christ in control to those that can hear what the Spirit says to the churches, to the called out ones, when God calls you out of this stuff. Okay? Calls a person out of this stuff. They can hear it. They can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. They hear that fragrance. They know they can just sense it internally. That seems questionable. It comes in the form of this still small voice. And that old loudmouth beast nature's telling you, that's insignificant. Don't believe that. Don't believe it. Bark, 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 cock-a-doodle-doo. And all this stuff. Bark, bark, bark. Hee-haw, hee-haw. Psst. It's doing all this crazy stuff. Keeping your mind so messed up. You gotta be still. Put a muzzle on it. And listen. And be obedient. Hear intelligently with the intent, not only the intent to obey or to respond positively to it, but just to obey. Yes, sir, I agree, so be it. In hot pursuit and proceed. Doing about face from that bull crap, that he-haw and donkey and stuff. You guys are crazy. Here, and walk. Right? Just like you're flying around and walking. Okay, the battle is the Lord's. Quit working and getting yourself all this in the mind all mixed up and just in a bridal hurry to help. Help yourself first. Slow down inside. Take care of what needs to take care of first. Seek ye first in time, place, and order of importance. This mind, getting your mind right. Back in, and that's why in God. It's a long, hard road, but the benefits are exceedingly great because you're existing, you're agreeing back from out of and all the way to, towards, into, and in, resting in God, and SYN, in union with God, in union with God's love, and He's going to hold you tight when you get there, and that's in each thought process, and you get to do it again, and do it again. Because it's growing, getting better. Now, remember, the size of an electron is negative electron experiences that you got to go through. It's like a worm. And the size of one proton or one neutron held tightly in the nucleus of that atom, where almost all the mass of that atom is in the nucleus. That tiny, tiny, tiny spot in there that's immensely dense and heavy. Like, the weight, almost all the weight, almost all the matter of that atom is in that nucleus, and it's held by the strong nuclear force. Okay? Held together. That's just representative of God holding us together, and God holds us much stronger than that. Much more securely. It's permanently fixed. Nothing shall be able to separate you from the love of God. Not anything. Read the last part of Romans chapter 8, okay? I read it a couple times on there for you. Read it, study it, meditate, focus. Pay attention to what's going on in your mind. Acknowledge God is true, and all this anthropos thinking is a liar. It's a bitch dog. Yuck! Quit your barking! Sock time! Duck tape! Shut up, you old dog. Right? It's not some monster out there. Roar, 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 big pitchfork. Roar. Trying to scare you. No, God's not giving you the spirit of fear, but the power, love, and a sound mind. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Yes, proceed back into God. Okay? Okay? Now, so that's the first one you conquer. You're deciding, yes, sir. And then you proceed and exist and exist and exist. In this one area, it's chop, 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 turn, chop, and then melt and melt and melt and melt, and impurities out. Right? He's consuming and refining. God's a consuming fire. God's a refining fire. Okay? Now, and come Israel, go through that name change, that nature, character, and authority change back into God prevails, or may he rule as God. See, in your mind, each one of these little marbles, little thought processes, if you will, singular areas of your thought processes is proceeding all the way back in there and being purified through fire until it's like a pearl of great price, a diamond. Okay? All right? Purified by God's standards. Let's go. His nature, character, and authority. Back into his love. Back in, and that's why I got. Okay? Now, let's see, right here I got, ask yourself, are you agreeing from out of and back in, that's why in, God? God, that's your great and exceeding reward. That's the most powerful of all. Or do you believe it? Other thing is he, haw, and donkey and these monsters, devil, doom, all this stuff. Do you believe that? Anything be able to separate you from the love of God? You're saying anything can. Right? Do you believe God causes all things to work together for good to them that love God? To those who are the called according to his purpose? Do you believe nothing shall be able to separate me from the love of God? Nothing. Are you believing fear? Doubt? Is your smeller working right? In the spirit? Do you smell that poop thinking that's your own righteousness? That's filthy stinking rags? Or do you smell and can you differentiate between that stinking, dubious thinking, that poopy thinking, and the rose garden smell? Oh, they're really fragrant. It's God's love. And if you lift him up, if you agree with him, he'll lift you up. He'll start burning out that garbage thinking, refining out those metals, and always in an upward manner. Right? Like when you're burning up garbage, it doesn't destroy the energy out of that garbage or the spirit. It just refines it. It purifies it. And always in an upward manner. It transforms it chemically. The natural is doing the same thing. And turn it, you're burning up that garbage thinking out of your mind. That carnal thinking. And always in an upward manner, okay? Now, okay, is anything able to separate you from the love of God? That's beyond words. Beyond the mere description of words. No, there's nothing. Okay, persecution, nakedness, peril. Okay, read Romans 8, chapter 8, verse 34 through the end of the chapter. Nah, there's nothing. And if God be for you, who cares? Who can be against you? Nah. Okay? But the devil, he's the big bad bully, almost able to whoop God's butt. He's making his stone 90-some% in the hell forever and ever. What are you saying? Is that not blasphemous talk? Is that not agreeing right with that old alpha dog and stuff, your old carnal mind telling you, bark, 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 and this parakeet messed up, quack, 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 bark. God says, bark. That bird is just all messed up. It's a nasty bird. Okay? Don't believe that stuff. God's the greatest. God's a great hero. How can he love you beyond words and torment you in this thing forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, plus one, infinity, and then we'll add to it another infinity, and then add some more, and add some more, number without beginning and end, and then we'll add another number without beginning and end, and that makes sense. It's double-minded. Stupid shit. Because it's SH, your ego in control of your TTS. Your seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell is controlled by that ego, and you're being obedient to that thing. Don't listen to it. Put a muzzle on it. Be still, right? And you're doing that to yourself. Okay? Don't listen to that. See? So, are you smelling it correctly? See, so those senses, when they're in controlled by Christ, are a gift. That seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. That you're unified with, taking you. It's helping you decide. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want my bags or my mind full of you, God. Because you're my exceeding great reward. So I'm not grasping after the wind, don't have nothing in there. Just poop thinking at best. Something that goes away very quickly. But when I go all the way back, agree, the result is you get to be heavy water in God. The heavy thought processes of love beyond words. God's taking you closer and closer and closer in each and every area of your thinking process. Back you in, and that's why I end that thinking. Woohoo! Yes, sir. God is great. Yeah. Better than chocolate cake. God is great. Better than a big old steak. All right. Make fun of that old lying alpha dog. He's not the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. He's not omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, sovereign God. No, that's the rightful king. Come back and get your inheritance in God. Claim it. But you claim it by agree. Right in any kind of thing, just like Noah. Means rest. In the middle of any kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. Any place. Anything in your mind. Just shut that stuff up. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes you got to repeat a couple times before you go, oh man, I was shooting myself in the foot, shot myself in the right foot, and then shot myself in the left foot, and didn't know what was going on. Couldn't walk right, couldn't live right, couldn't think right. Oh, I was all kinds of messed up. Oh, yuck. Get out of here. Turn and walk towards God, and God will help you walk. God will give that increase. Be reasonable, my child. See it my way. All right, hang on to me while I pull you out of this stuff. How you on poop thinking? Okay, now, took a little bit more. I summed it up pretty good there. That's that fragrance. That's Jericho. Get your smeller right. Are you smelling that dubious poop thinking? Or is this the rose garden that's thinking going back into God's right-mindedness? Choose this day which way you'll go. Okay. Now we're back in. Let's go to. I want to start a little bit here in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. We'll go to the next verse, verse 8, like chapter 8 or book number 8. Okay. Yeah, break this thing down. Get back closer to the beginning. This is not exhaustive, but it's definitely getting deeper. Because you want to dig it out as much as you can, be in hot pursuit of God. Okay? Now, start out reading this verse, and then we'll start where I'm covering. Start now. I've only got about a minute or something, so I'm just going to start to break into it, and I'll pick up here next time, okay? So, it says in verse 8 of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the love chapter, love, charity, never faileth. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall fail. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. Okay? Now, let's start here in this charity never fails. Okay, the first word in there is actually not charity. It's ha, this word, 3588. We've covered that before.
Strong's G 3588. Ha. Ha.
Huh. That's that's not even put in the King James language. King James Version. It's the definite article. It means the, this one, that one. It's talking about this thought process. Proceeding back from out of and all the way in. God. We'll pick up here next time. I'm about to run out of time, okay? But this ball of your thinking processes, actually, let's talk about that. That in God's love never fails, okay? Your little precursor thing, okay? We'll pick up here next time. Love you. Thank you. Have a wonderful, great day. And know that God is your exceeding great reward. This has been Spiritual Toolbox number 102. Thank you. Bye-bye.